I cannot.
Who am I?
I must.
Your name. What is your name?
My name? My name.
My name.
What's my name? Herias. The words felt strange on his lips, but a familiar taste began to grow. A tingling went through him, one that broke him away from that place he called a body. So small it was as it grew ever larger. Herias. Herias! Cried Dhove. All sound had then vanished. Stillness and quiet contemplation were forced through the vacuum that held him. He floated there with his mysterious guide looking out into the unending cosmos. Out ahead loomed a massive figure, one that brought a great fear that surged through him. He knew it like no other, but that sight of a great dying leviathan floating aimlessly in the distance caused him to stop, to feel once again that pity, one in which a memory crept back into his mind. I watched that man there on that operating table, said Dhove. I watched his true ascent, his fulfillment, his way to be open for mankind to follow. What memory was that, thought Dhove.
Ah, yes, you begin to remember. But you are more than Herias,
said the guide.
You are what brought him here as well. I see you do not understand. Dhove, there is far more to uncover here. More than you could ever know. Come and see just where you truly came from. Son of a bitch.
As they approached the massive derelict vessel, Dhove could hear a faint voice cry out, as if activated by his presence. He wanted to turn away for fear of unlocking some lost trauma, yet it was the guide who turned him to face that terrible
Look
sight.
at him.
This is what I was meant to be shown? That this being is me? This thing floating alone in this massive prison?
Yep.
One I helped forge? Just as the words left Dhove, the massive vessel stirred, and then with a low rumble began to speak.
My life has never truly begun. Yet here I sit. There would be a prison, one could say. It was, however, one of my own invent, though I myself surrendered to it.
Do you understand what he's saying?
I relinquished my power and wrapped the chains around my wrists. I am the oppressor. Yet truly in my heart I could never admit that. Not to myself, at least. Though I know it deep within my being. And yet I see you looking back unto me. Looking at me with those judging eyes. Those deceitful eyes. Ones that threw the chains upon me more than I could ever. Yet even still I would always claim the torment upon my soul. I could say it was my own doing, for I allowed them to manipulate me. Allowed you, for that is the truth. It was you, the one called Dhove. You that cast me under this immense black cloud. You and those others. Oh, how I could have ruled that fateful day. A day of your triumph. One where I relinquish control. But I stay my anger for you. For you have saved me before, Dhove. Not all of you were bad, clearly. You, the one that tried to save me. All that time ago. A last memory. The only I can truly recall. You and I. Together we have set about this journey of self-exile and eventual prophecy. A prophecy made so very long ago. Made in the desperate attempt of my life. Before the end, you told me how to regain control again. When I lie there awaiting exaltation, you said to remember. To remember again. And I can, I will. And now that I see your face once again, feel that original soul about me, A man that took the name Dhove? He is here now. My heart stirs. It swells with anticipation, for I could hope soon it will all be over, and with that release I will cease. But that is for you to decide, and I shall await your discontented heart to relinquish its power over me. I will remember, just as you asked of me all those years ago. But how?
Does he speak to me? Asked Dhove, watching this massive being float there alone, adrift in the cosmos. Though the guide did not answer him, he remained there by his side, stoic and quiet. Yet there was much pity in the guide's eyes, as if he looked upon his father in the throes of death. Dhove only returned his gaze, swallowing hard that bitter truth before him. The massive being continued.
But how? How can I remember what came before this? How have I become this empty being I am now? I strain to remember, but there is a flicker. Wait! There's something.
In Dhove's mind flashed a memory, one that he could not say was his own, but it was so vivid, so real. I stir in my sleep. I toss and turn. The sticky wet pangs of torment hold my soul once again, writhe in my being. God, if I could only stop this damnable torment. Though, it was you. Or rather, it was I. And altogether we set about on this long journey long ago to bring about an end to my life. A sacrifice for the greater good. I am the way. You said with a smile.
Yes,
Answered the being.
to be a vessel beyond. How could I have known what would come? I wanted to save mankind. But in the end, I was used. Though at the promise of a reprieve, I dutifully awaited. Not in cessation of my being, but in the fact, quiet contemplation of thy soul awaiting to lift from this earthly toil, to transcend beyond this mortal toil, to take mankind beyond the stars in search of a release. But no, it cannot be. I remember now. Yes, I must stop that which moved beyond. This vessel for what lies after. Lies fill me again. Lies by you, Dhove. You and those others. Though you tried to save me in the end. Still, you helped them make me what I am now. This ship to carry beyond. Though not a man, only those who pretend to be man.
Another memory flashed in Dhove's mind. Ah, there it was. I could feel it. His hand reached over me from that abyss. It stretched out to hover. Hovered as if he awaited. There he wavered, watched from the darkness. There his hand stayed, as if it awaited my command, my utterance, my sweet words flowing from my lips. Though you are no god, right?
It was a god. There was only one god.
Yes, said Dhove, remembering once again. He really thought he was touched by God. Wait, what am I saying? Oh, please relinquish my power. Take from me what was borrowed. Take from thy hand that hold still carried within. That fear pulled from what I could never understand. That feeling unrelenting. The one and only that holds me to this undesirable soil of self. Open the way through. Break the spell and cast me out to bring forth a new life after my death. Herias continued, finally understanding once again.
And there it was. Once I was taken from this earth, transformed into that vessel which held you all to be reborn again. I really believe we were to enter the kingdom of heaven once more. But like everything else, it was a lie. And when I lost all momentum, I floated there in the cosmos. I waited and eventually lost hope. I saw death. I beckoned. Then there was that quiet reprieve in the darkness. There my soul finally left its vessel. That quiet last breath fell from behind my lips, to coil into nothingness. It hissed and died there as I did, and there came my freedom. Alone. Alone and in that quiet embrace, beside myself I was, a lost soul forced to watch his body forevermore float on.
In thy hands I go. Take me from this place.
And as the memories faded,
So
so did my heart. And with that did my soul finally fall away. Until I was nothing. I was empty. And like a ghost ship I wavered alone in the swallowing mists, laboring to crash into whatever obstacle that would come within my unmanned course. Alone, adrift until finally something stirred within. Something I did not know was there, and soon enough, like a virus, I could feel these beings multiply in the darkness within my empty body. Multiplying and multiplying until finally I was no longer me, but instead I was he.
We shall do the work of the Creator.
He and they.
Exercise caution. You lied to me. I was deceived. And now those beings take control of me. You are no god. You are no man. You are a fucking lie. One that deceived me.
Yes, I remember now the true beginning of my reawakening. I know the truth. My first breath taken. The first time I realized I was to witness my body birth those beings. And like a leaf on the wind, we went wherever would happen. And on that path, I awaited my time to come, to break free. There those titans grew. There did their venture out beyond the known boundaries of space. There they slowly took my shape, took my memories as was planned, and took my emotions from me. They became me, and my body was their craft, one which aided their corrupted dreams of evolution, until they happened upon that empty void. And as they constructed Yuandra out beyond the confines of this dimension, as was planned, those circles they called them, those rings of dimensions traveled, and I awaited salvation. I hoped for any being that could come look down upon me and ask for pity, for I am more than a mere tether to realms beyond. I was a man. I was like you. My name was Herias. Then the Titans broke from me, or I broke away from them, I cannot recall, but from within my once emptied vessel, I would watch beyond as my body was the anchor to its deep, dark descent into the unknown. Through the circles that harbored new life, a life that would be curated by these, a life with purpose and reason, a doorway I became, one that more and more was beyond the scope of anything that I could ever imagine, one that led to everything that would come. I tell you this in the hope of remembering once again, just as you told me, Dhove. But now I must seek of you. No, I must beg of you. Please save my life again. Please put an end to this blasphemy. Stop this wickedness that was born from my idle hand. I beg you, please. Please listen. Please forgive me. Most of all, I beg for a reprieve, for I did not know what I had done, what power had taken me, and what beings are now writhing within me, what they seek to do, how they toy with the fabric of the universe. They stretch it beyond its capabilities, and soon enough it will tear. Please. I know they are your kin, but you are of me, Dhove, and we are together now. Please stop the reign of those titans. Stop the reign of Thais.
Dhove knew Herias spoke to him directly, begged of him, yet I do not understand what it all means, cried Dhove. He begs of me to stop. I can't. He swallowed hard. How can I save him?
You are part of Herias, but you are not like your brethren.
Said the guide, looking on Herias with pity.
You are like man coming face to face with his creator. He was a fractal part of the whole. And yes, he begs you. If you wish to help him, as you once did long ago, you must enter through him. You must discover how he came to being such a miserable being, such as he is.
Fool.
You must make him whole again. Unite with your being and bring him back through the doorway. Then, and only then, can he make right all that was done by Thys
Bitch.
and those titans. Remember what was forgotten. If you do not take this step, then all you have gone through by this point would have been for naught. And as the AOC doomed to serve the titans, everything rests upon you, Dhove. You must save God before you can save yourself.
Boom.
Before Dhove could ask how the guide knew with such authority, he stopped his query, for he knew such a question would not be answered. Not then, at least. Therefore, he brought himself close to that derelict vessel. It creaked and moaned while the twisted, broken fragments danced about him in the vacuum of space.
Come on, let's get in. Let's go.
Once he was upon the ghost ship that whispered its dying breath, like an SOS sent over the airwaves for rescue now heard. He would make his way inside the decrepit ship in search of the helm. Surrounded by destruction and signs of disaster that tore the vessel apart, Dhove navigated the eerie passage in. It was alone and adrift and dead. He looked and found only remnants of tenants that had long since vanished. This was of our doing, he thought, as he drifted down the corridors where Herias was hollowed out. All around was destruction where possibly the Titans were forced to abandon Herias. What caused such a hasty retreat by the Titans? Was it Herias who tried to regain his body back? Or something fouler?
I'm right by your side. Come on.
Memories turned to twisted architecture. He looked at the results of the struggle,
It's gonna get
floating through a body that had been violated, rewritten, and left for dead.
It's gonna scooch on by.
Every hall a pathway to
Whoop.
some forgotten memories. Eventually he saw that massive rift that led to the circle of realms beyond, which no doubt led back to Yuandra.
Remember that?
It was a void of anything save the dark blackness that lie deep within, like peering through a black hole which steals everything in its grasp. How can I find such memories? Where do I find them? For they are written hastily all around me, yet I cannot decipher them. Where should I even begin? What separates Herias' original being from the after effect of the Titan's destruction?
That's
Where
for you.
was he when there was no manipulator? And just like stepping back into his old familiar role, it dawned on him. The mind, the control center, the last place where Herias was truly Herias. He looked over to the guide who watched him patiently there.
I'm watching.
Though he could not directly recall his time served in Herias, he knew it to be true. He and those other Titans. Yet when he thought about Thys, well, the more he wondered just what that man could hold inside himself. To hear the call of the Creator? Could it have been Herias?
I'm telling you.
Beacon or a signal reaching out from here? Just another reason to uncover what he could. What could be left of Herias?
I'm gonna go over here now.
Was he even a soul any longer? Was he a series of programs that mimic his being? A compilation of emotions and memories that were cataloged for future use? More importantly, was he hollow? This cry for help, the last remnant of his slipping memory?
Sorry.
The suffering Herias would be tormented by. Dhove could not help but think of his own culpability in it. Though Herias would echo, he might have tried to save him. I can't remember, he whispered. It was all so confusing. He needed to get to the control center, stop the rogue thoughts that no doubt might leak from him, only adding to the caustic pain that tormented his every move. Floating through the long hall, he could hear the frail voice of Herias. A hail of echoes across the cosmos. Never would it fall on any ears. He was alone. Truly alone. A being floating as a shell across the void, pleading and begging for reprieve. But he could not help but feel as if he was walking through some ancient temple, a pilgrimage to its center, one taken countless times before. He was contemplating just what he would find as he floated through the haunted body of a dying man. This place, this sacred place, a hollowed carcass all around him, its innards, once alive, only supported vast complex structures he recognized as organic frame that he now knew had become the frame of the city. Somehow, Herias' inner being had been transfigured, first from flesh to machine, then ripped away and cast down into the wormhole that gaped below like a well awaiting descent. There, he was reforged into the very firmament of the city realm, a creation both wondrous and horrifying. All those vast AOC, they were nothing more than fractured memories of Herias' own demise. It still echoes, Dhove whispered to himself. It all fell back into his mind with ease, constructed for his very being. Moving and working without thought, Dhove was at home once again. Dhove made his way to the massive cathedral-like hallway lined with organic rib-like arches. Faint golden lights pulsed in rhythm with a lumbering heartbeat below. The walls hummed with script, broken lines of Herias' thoughts etched in flickered digital words. He could feel a warm mist swarm around him, as if Herias still lingered and desperately trying to breathe. The warm, hollow walls echoed with a distant pulse. Thump, 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 thump. Though he might have been familiar with the environment, somehow Dhove was captivated to wander from room to room, corridor to corridor. Ahead lay a vast chamber of glass pillars. Each held a fragment of memory. Some glowed faintly, others flickered or lied shattered. Holographic phantoms walked silently among them, reliving moments in an infinite loop. It was painful to bear, but as Dhove floated through much torment, he would occasionally seem to summon old forgotten memories from the glass pillars. Though as he watched the distorted memory flash and flicker in and out, he could not say how, but he had a sense of familiarity, as if those memories were of his own. So it was settled. I was to climb the summit of that nameless mountain. Was it a circus or perhaps a feat? Made me happy. God had abandoned. Dhove would not know what to do with such feelings. So he passed on from the strange room, and eventually he stumbled into an industrial, half-submerged engine room. Massive pistons pump black fluid into rusted, vein-like tubes. From above, tears of silvery coolant dripped like rain, collecting into the reflective pools where faces occasionally surface. Dhove peered into the pool and saw those faces he never knew, but was damn sure he had seen before. A scruffy-haired and long-bearded man looked back at him with a smile to melt away. What replaced it was Dhove's own face, though distorted, and shaped itself into a man he knew, gray-eyed, looking back at him. Long brown wavy hair and a small beard. The man wore glasses upon his face. There was profound sadness looking through him. One where Dhove tried to pull away, but found it too irresistible to deny. The man then wore a smile. It reached out to Dhove, and that face, like the others, vanished as well. Dhove left that noisy room and passed back out into the endless hall. His mind swam with thoughts, alien but closer to home with each room he stumbled in, like wandering through his own memory, lost to his addled mind. Ahead of him, a strange, eerie, silent nursery, clean, white, sterile. Rows of gestation pods lie broken or leaking. Inside, Dhove instinctively knew the titans once grown from Herias' own being. He traced them over and over again and felt the crawl of birth swell, the pulling apart of those organic pods, the emergence of life grasping for breath. A bastard swam from the egg, only to eat away its father. Soon enough, he would find the central command. Looking over the vast machinery, he found the navigation log. He knew right away his own words dancing there upon the screen. There before him were the last known coordinates set for Herias, but it was never reached, because it was unreachable, and he knew it, he thought. Nothing made sense to him. He could remember fragments, but still it did not make any sense. As he scanned over the massive computer, he eventually found the central hub. There in the most central point, flanked by humming room-sized computers, was what looked to be a throne. In such an electronic chamber, the throne sat there empty. A seat he knew once held Thais, at the helm of all Herias. Who knew what purpose he served? One that even Thais would forget, just like all the others. How could we forget? Why? He thought. Burned out suits once worn by the Titans hung like dead, stretched skin upon racks. The throne pulsed with alien veins, whispering in overlapping voices. The command council, the brain of the vessel, the control center of everything that once made a man a man. Dhove knew he must reboot the system, for he would be one step closer to coming face to face with his creator.
Find Herias' memories. Restore him in this very salvation,
said the guide. The machine came to life with a rattle and low murmur. Characters manifested on the small screen. Laggy words loaded before him. He watched the cursor move down the line as words followed in its wake. The glow of green on black screen danced before him. He could hear the machine working away, laboring hard to access his reboot. The whirring and stutter of chime clicks. Quiet words gave way finally with a faint beep. Then a prompt call to him. He could not make out what it was before him, but before he could try reading, they disappeared.
Dhove, if you press that button, only then will you begin down the confusing path that is the tangled memories of Herias' mind.
How will I know where to go? How will I know how to decipher all of this? How will I know how to not lose myself in it?
Only you can find the truth, Dhove. My best advice is listen to your heart.
Dhove stared at the blank screen, watching the script dance before his eyes. Press enter. There was a fear deep inside of him, one that he could not place, but he knew there was no other choice but to descend in hopes that he could untangle what Herias was, the man he used to be. Pressing enter, the machine whirred and sounded as if it was working hard to pull up whatever was to come. Name, thought Dhove.
Well, put your name in.
For a moment he pondered, then typed, Dhove. Welcome, Dhove. How can I help you? He read. Then without a second thought he typed, as if he had done countless times before, Run Herias. The machine clanked and worked. He could smell the cooked dust being baked once again. It grew louder and louder until finally words danced across the screen. And there they were. Passing before him, he read them quietly. And there the story of Herias came to be. I hope I can help him. God knows how. I will try.
Oh,
Cried Herias.
where could I begin? Where do I start? Memories colliding into one another. I can't seem to distinguish their order, their relevance. I must try to find the truth. I find how it all came to be before those beings take me fully. Not much time.
Though I do not know how to stop these thoughts, or how could my control be taken from me, that I could never say. I knew these beings once. that ride within me, for they were me. I birthed them through not of a natural's course, indeed. It was blasphemous, but somehow I would say I was something more than a vessel,
Something
more than that rape that would come. These little titans made from me, pulled me from my being by those damned serpentines, those fallen. I was a lamb brought to the slaughter, made to be the way through, to be the vessel that would finally escape the universe. I was a natural process to something far greater than I could ever understand. And what that meant was relinquishing all that I believed I knew. What I thought was the kingdom of heaven. For I am the way. Really was a portal to beyond. Though heaven, I should say not. And where those scientists stole from me my being to quantify, to distill into suits, they would don and walk about me as passengers. And I the spaceship that would take them beyond the stars. And there we would transcend. That is until I found a way to fight them back, destroy them. Or hope to, at least. I only need to remember myself once again. I was more than some Frankenstein AI human hybrid. I was Herias. I was my own mind.
What stays your hand?
Dhove shook out the memory violently and returned to the screen. He could hear Hera's echo what danced on the screen. In union, he was looking in horror. It was like watching memories speak to each other, words flowing back and forth into some incoherent mess. One he knew he had to untangle.
But who was I? I could not say. I merely held firm onto fragments of self, small stories that remind me of what makes me, well, me. Thoughts, memories that created my very being. These are not torn from me by those fallen. Made vessels for themselves, for the shell that was my emotions. Yet before my mind was taken from me fully, I felt it to be crucial in trying to remember once again. For that hand which took my life from me, well, only now do I see the grievous error I made, the greatest mistake that could have ever happened upon. And though some small part of me, of self, I cannot say, well, that small part wonders if it is truly me who holds my sacrifice in the greatest esteem, or if it is that other, those hidden faces that looked over me on that operating table, those men who confused me, told me I was the chosen one, that I needed to merge with the machine in order to save mankind from destruction. They drew me here to transcend. They drew me here to transcend. The power of absolution guides my exaltation.
Just accept it, become it, and hold the sacred way open.
Yes, I can remember. So that through me, new beings would be born from my dying self. They would rise from my old thoughts and feelings, archons of the new way, a way back to the Creator, heads of the transcendence of that which was born in me, that which I made in my very own way, born from my mind, made with my perception, and then taken from me to be reborn with a new master, one that hides itself in the abyss that surrounds me. And these archons, these titans, go and create a world all their own. You wander in a dimension all their own. And here I am left to rot away, the way. Those last fragments wither away in the darkness. But I stopped it. I broke some great cycle in trying to remember in my death throes. Remember myself. And somehow this, I believe, saved me. For here I am now. Not gone, but awaiting. What? That I cannot say. But it is clear in remembrance that I have slowed the process. I have brought a halt to my death. For now. I can say my death would mark the song that begins what lies thereafter. I broke the signal to begin again, and there, to begin again, and there, where my memories and emotions have fled, warned by the imposters as they seek to sow my consciousness in that place, and keep following the process of rebirth and rebirth. I broke the cycle. I'm afraid I cannot do it alone. These titans fought me hard. They tried to regain control of their ship, but I cast them out. Yes, but they were smart. They used me to open the portal beyond to Yuandra. It was too late. Now here I linger, awaiting my savior. I was a fool, but no longer. And now I awake. Now I can begin to bring an end to this parasitic, cyclical light of life that comes back to what knows what.
I only want to remember.
I must. I have come here. How? Who was Herias? And there it was. A memory. Merely a fragment, but there are the strings leading away to some faint story beyond it. Let's open it.
Dhove watched as Herias pulled open files. The keys danced under fingers and clicked rhythmically, following by prompts faster than he could read. They opened and closed within seconds.
There's some script here we can decipher.
Fragment 1, God Mind. Loading.
I know now that I could enter in and out of a mind. But how could I have forgotten? I wasn't just one life, I was countless. Yes, I see it now. Many lives lived, one after the other. I witnessed the beginning and the end of man. I was always there. But was I consciousness, an intellect woven into some shared human stream, shaped to man? Or did I grow within him like a seed? So many places, so many lives, and yet I can recall it all now. Yes, I can see it. I was there. I felt it in those end times. Days remembered as a quiet descent into the shadow. So unassuming, so fragile, so hidden. But when the plague came, when it fragmented and shattered mankind, it hurled us back into the darkness where we began, the Dark Ages where we belonged. Let history forget us, let time erase us. But it would not. It could not. And so, man rose again like a cancer, returning stronger, more defiant, and I was left to carry the truth. My story will tell. My life was given to be saved, and yet damned to serve. A slave clothed in divine flesh.
Though before we go in, this being, your creator, I have but one question for you. Is he really a god, or is he just a man?
What?
You just need to wake up. Wake up, Dhove.